Hey everyone, Amelia here, buyer's agent at MELIA Property, and today I am joined by someone who knows a lot about making numbers work and buying property. This is Roydon Sidney, who is a finance specialist with CZM Finance, and he's definitely a go-to for anything loan related and finance related. Thanks so much for being here with me.
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and where you've come from, your business and property journey so far?
Sure. Yeah. Hi guys, my name's Roydon. As Amelia said, I'm from CZM Finance. I'm a finance specialist. We, as a business, operate in the commercial and residential space, and we love working with investors and connecting them with buyers agents like Amelia. Personally, I have bought an investment property in Eagleby with my wife in December 2020. And from there, we've leveraged that house to buy our owner-occupied in Loganholme in May 2023. I'm a very passionate sports fan. If you ever want to talk about anything sports related, I will chew your ear off for the whole day.
Yeah.
Love that. You're a Brisbane man through and through.
Yes.
So we're going to keep it super simple today and talk through about 5 questions that we think finance brokers get asked the most when clients are thinking about buying an investment property. Right, we'll jump straight in. This is the question that I think everybody wants to know when they go to a broker, and that is, how much can I borrow?
Yes.
Can you talk us through how that number actually gets worked out?
For sure. I remember when I was first going to talk to a mortgage broker, I was convinced that they wouldn't lend me anything at the banks. I would be out of the market for a long time, and much to my surprise, we were able to borrow more than we anticipated when we were first looking. The basic calculations are your income minus your monthly expenses, minus any repayments on any existing debts. And then they also will consider your asset position as well. If they can secure it against maybe an existing property, that definitely helps to strengthen your application. A little bit about monthly expenses though. If you operate a pretty tight budget, banks will have their own expected monthly expenditure. And if you come in underneath of that, they will use what they benchmark as far as the configuration of your family. So if you're a married couple, they will expect you to spend X amount of dollars. And if you come in underneath that, they will calculate it on the higher of the benchmark or your actual monthly expenditure.
Oh, it's such a bit harsh. I think that. Okay, so next question. How early should clients be coming and speaking to yourselves as broker? I mean, should they be going out there and finding that house first and wanting to put an offer in and then seeing you? Or is it something that they should be doing fairly early on in the process?
Great question. I would suggest coming and speaking to a broker before you start looking, only because if you don't know how much you can borrow, you don't know what price range to look in. You don't want to fall in love with a house that when you come and talk to us and we go, the bank's not going to lend you enough money to be able to buy that house.
Fair enough.
You don't want to get stuck in a position of being attached to it. And investors as well, if you're looking at areas to buy an investment property but doesn't quite work with servicing, you don't want to essentially waste your time looking at things that you can't afford. Window shopping is great. It can give you inspiration for maybe what you're looking for in a house, maybe was a non-negotiable, and then you can start to bring that list down and set different expectations. But I would suggest speaking to a broker very early on in the journey, just so you can get a budget established early.
Right. Totally makes sense. And also that pre-approval.
Yes.
Because that makes a huge difference when you're coming in.
Yes. A pre-approval is really cool as well. It helps buyers agents where you can present it to them and go, hey, this is what a bank will actually lend me. As a broker, I can give you indicative approvals of what our servicing calculators are saying you can borrow. Nothing is 100% accurate until the bank actually finally gives you the formal approval or pre-approval. So that's always a good step as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's something that selling agents really like to see when you're putting an offer forward, is that you have that pre-approval in place.
Yeah.
So another pretty common one is clients who are wanting to use equity that they have in their home and they want to use that equity to fund their investment. So how does that work? And Can anyone who has equity in their home actually access it?
Another great question. Equity is one of those buzzwords that you'll hear a lot of people throw out in real estate. It's essentially the paper value difference between what your house is worth and what loan value you have on that property. Most lenders will give you up to 80% without lender's mortgage insurance. You can always leverage higher than that, but then LMI is an expense to factor in as well. But something that you need to consider is it's all lending. So when someone accesses equity, you're increasing your debt levels. And so the question is not necessarily only how much equity I have in my house. It's great to say it's gone up in value 500,000. But if the bank will only lend you $300,000, you can't access that equity all the way anyway.
Right.
So it has to go hand in hand with, yes, I have the equity. How much can I actually service as part of a loan application before you can actually access it? The only other way realistically to access that equity is to sell the property. That will just be cash in your bank account. So that's one way to do it as well. If we are maxing out your servicing without being able to access as much equity as you want.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a misconception, I think, that often gets thrown around that equity is there to be used, but it's all about the serviceability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And that's something to talk about with your broker, your accountant, your financial planner, and just working out what you can actually afford.
Yeah, for sure.
And what's going to be a safe level of debt for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so are there any loan features or structures that are particularly helpful for investors, especially if they're looking to build a portfolio over time?
Definitely. We will work with accountants and financial advisors as far as the structuring of it goes. We can put it into companies or trusts depending on where you land on what's the best structure for you as far as asset protection. And then there's other loan features, for example, loan splits, where you may not want to cross-collateralize your two properties, where you can just take an equity loan out against one and use that as the deposit for the next one. But if you choose to sell, you don't have to untangle the web of the two houses being connected.
Yeah, true.
There is also offset accounts where you can have your savings held in a transaction account against your home loan, where the balance of those offsets are taken away from the interest calculated on your property or on your loan. So for example, if you had a $700,000 loan, you have $100,000 in an offset account, the interest will be calculated on $600,000, which means that you'll pay less interest, which is really cool because when you make your minimum monthly repayment, you're paying off more toward the principal and therefore can pay off your loan quicker than the 30 years that the bank will give you the loan term for. You can also do things like interest only. The pro of interest only is that the monthly repayment is smaller. Essentially, you're not paying anything toward the principal of the loan. Banks will consider whether or not you can afford the principal repayments over the period of time after the interest only finishes. So say if you get 2 years interest only, they will make sure that you can afford the loan within 28 years of repayments.
Right, so take that shorter amount of time.
Yeah. Which will make your repayments higher once you roll onto principal and interest. We can then refinance to another interest only period. It works well for investors that may not want to pay off anything toward the principal, but just need to buy time in the market to see capital growth, add value, maybe flick it on from there. It really depends on what the strategy is in the long term.
Some really interesting features that you can use there.
Definitely.
You don't know until you ask.
Yeah.
So this last question, it's probably one that I don't think enough people ask, but I definitely think that it should be asked. And that is, what can I do to make my broker's life easier?
Oh.
What can I do to make that process super smooth and just reduce stress levels?
Yeah, that's a great question. The best answer I can say is be a willing participant in the process. If the broker calls or sends you an email, respond as quickly as you can. We know that life is busy for everyone, and your time has to be juggled across everything that you have to do. Get together the loan documents. Sometimes the email asking for the information can seem daunting. It's typically going to take maybe an hour of your time to get pay slips, IDs, tax returns, all of the normal documentation that you would need, which it's a worthy investment to get that together just so that we can keep the ball rolling as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Don't hide anything from your broker. We're not here to judge you as far as maybe if you've got some skeletons in your financial closet. We actually need to know that because we can structure a deal with a lender that might be more flexible with those skeletons. You don't want to put an application in, they do their credit searches and come back with questions, and then you go, oh yeah, I should have told you about that. And then that whole application has been wasted because the bank's going to say no. There's definitely tiers of lenders where you can give little bits of information and we can keep things at a surface level. And then there's tiers of lending that they'll go into everything. And so it's helpful to know what oppositions we might be facing so that we can put you into the right lending in the first instance.
Yeah, I can totally agree with you on that one.
Be transparent.
Yeah, be transparent.
Yeah.
Get everything out and be transparent right from the get-go.
100%. It makes everyone's life so much easier, especially if we're under a finance clause. We've got timeframes to meet.
Yeah.
And we don't want to get any curveballs in the 11th hour that maybe skew the deal. And also having partnerships with buyer's agents established, we can work with them to keep communication open, how the deal's going, if they're in negotiations with sales agents or wanting to keep other people involved in the loop. We'll just open communication with everyone is awesome.
That's another one I agree with. Before we wrap up, do you have just one tip for someone if they're getting started in property investment? What would you tell them?
Oh, here's one.
Yeah.
Rent money is not necessarily wasted. As long as you've got your foot in the property market somewhere, you might be able to leverage capital growth before you buy your own rock. That's what my wife and I did. We bought in Eagleby. It's blown up deluxe, rented in Cannon Hill because that was where we wanted to be. And now we can afford a property to live in.
Yeah, nice. You rent vested.
Sure did.
Another buzzword.
Yes.
So, thank you very much, Roydon. I feel like we've only just scratched the surface and we could honestly sit here for hours and chat more. But we'll have to save for another video.
Sounds
which
great.
I'm hoping to do many more of.
Yeah.
And if you found that this helped, give me a thumbs up. Head on to the CZM Finance. Roydon, do you have your own page?
Yeah, I have a Facebook page that you can connect with me directly, and there's a website that you can reach out to as well.
Cool. We'll put all the details in the description. But yeah, if you want help finding property or sorting your finance out, you know where to go. And happy buying.
Yeah. Good luck.